If that scene is even slightly familiar to you right now, if night driving has become something you quietly dread, I need you to stay with me for the next 20 minutes. Because what I am about to share with you is not about glasses. It is not about getting older. And it is absolutely not about waiting patiently until some doctor tells you it is time for surgery. What I am about to tell you is that your vision is being quietly dismantled from the inside, right now, by something you almost certainly ate this morning, something that has been in your kitchen for decades, something the food industry has been confidently selling you as healthy your entire adult life. And once I show you exactly what it is and exactly why it does what it does, you will never look at your pantry the same way again. Let me describe what you might be experiencing. How many of these match your daily reality? In the morning, especially in the first 20 minutes after you wake up, your vision has a filmy quality, like someone draped a thin, translucent curtain over the whole world. It clears up a little as the day goes on, maybe, but it is never quite as crisp as it used to be. When you are reading a menu, a label at the grocery store, the text on your phone, you have started moving things a little farther away than you used to, or you find yourself drifting toward a lamp, looking for more light without even realizing you are doing it. Colors that used to feel vivid and alive, the deep green of your backyard in summer, the blue of a clear October sky, they look slightly muted now, washed out, like an old photograph left in the sun too long. And then there is the night driving situation we just talked about, the halos around headlights, the glare from oncoming cars that seems almost aggressive now. None of these things happened overnight. They crept in slowly, one small change at a time. So slowly that you adapted without noticing. You started letting your spouse drive in the evenings. You began avoiding highways after dark. And you told yourself, this is just what getting older looks like. I need you to hear something clearly right now. It is not. These are not the inevitable price of living a long life. These are warning signals, biological alarm bells. Your eyes are telling you that something is going wrong at a chemical level inside your body, and that something started accumulating long before you noticed the first symptom. There are 3 specific substances, 3 things almost certainly in your kitchen right now, that are systematically inflaming, oxidizing, and starving the most delicate tissues in your entire body, your retinal cells, your lens proteins, the microscopic blood vessels feeding your optic nerve. I am going to name every single one of them today, explain exactly what each one does, and tell you what to replace them with so you can stop this process and give your eyes a real fighting chance. Before we get there, I want to name something you have almost certainly been told. You have been told that what is happening to your eyes is simply aging, genetics, and that when it gets bad enough, when the cataracts mature, when the macular degeneration advances far enough, then and only then you take action, usually surgical action. Until that point, you monitor, you wait, you adapt. I want you to set that story down. Not because every doctor who told you that was wrong, but because they were giving you the half of the story that fits inside a 15-minute appointment. Today, we are going to talk about the other half. My name is Dr. Michael Kent. I am an ophthalmologist and functional medicine specialist with over 2 decades of clinical practice. I spent the first 10 years of my career doing exactly what I was trained to do, diagnosing, monitoring, and when medically necessary, operating on eyes. But a specific pattern kept nagging at me. Patients who did everything right surgically and still came back declining. And I started asking a question that my training had never equipped me to answer. What if the surgery is treating the result and nobody is ever touching the cause? That question changed the entire direction of my practice. If this is your first time on this channel, hit subscribe and the notification bell. What we discuss here is the conversation that should have happened in that exam room, but almost never does. Now, before I show you the 3 enemies, I need to tell you something about each one that is going to surprise you. The first one is hiding inside foods actively marketed to people your age as heart healthy and doctor recommended. foods you probably feel good about eating. The second one is something your last blood test almost certainly showed no problem with whatsoever. Your doctor looked at those numbers and told you everything looks fine, which is exactly why this one keeps destroying vision in people who genuinely believe they are completely in the clear. And the third one, the one I now consider the most structurally damaging, is almost certainly in the cooking oil on your stovetop right now, in your salad dressing, in your granola bar, in virtually every packaged food in your pantry. Three enemies, three different biological pathways, all three burning simultaneously inside your eyes right now. But before I name them, I need to show you the single mechanism that connects all three to your retina. Because once you understand this one process, everything else becomes immediately obvious. The concept is oxidative stress. Picture a brand new bicycle chain, just unboxed. Perfectly smooth, perfectly flexible, every link moving exactly as it should. Now leave that chain outside in the rain for 2 years. No oil, no cover, just exposure. It rusts. Link by link, the metal corrodes. Some links fuse together, some crack. The whole structure becomes stiff, brittle, and eventually fails. That is oxidative stress, biological rust. And every single cell in your body is exposed to this process every single day. Your body comes equipped with a built-in anti-rust system, a fleet of protective molecules called antioxidants. Think of these as the oil you apply to keep the chain protected. Lutein, zeaxanthin, vitamin C, glutathione. When these are present in abundance, they neutralize oxidative damage before it accumulates. Your cells stay flexible, transparent, functional. But when you regularly consume foods that generate oxidative stress far faster than your antioxidant system can neutralize it, the rust wins. And in your eyes, which have among the highest metabolic demands of any tissue in your body, the result shows up as exactly the symptoms you recognized a moment ago. The film, the halos, the faded colors, the night driving fear. Let's name the three foods causing this, starting with the one hiding in plain sight. The first enemy is refined sugar. And I already know what you're thinking. I do not eat much sugar. I gave up sweets a long time ago. Let me tell you about a patient of mine. I will call him Darnell. Darnell was a 64-year-old retired electrician from just outside Cincinnati. He had cut out candy, soda, and desserts entirely after his doctor mentioned prediabetes 5 years earlier. When his cataracts accelerated dramatically over 16 months, his previous doctor had no explanation other than genetics. When we tracked everything Darnell actually ate for 1 full week, the picture was something he genuinely could not believe. His morning granola had 19 grams of added sugar per cup. His protein shake had 21 grams. His whole wheat bread had 4 grams per slice. His barbecue sauce had 13 grams per 2 tablespoons. His pasta sauce had 11 grams per half cup. Darnell was consuming 20 to 23 teaspoons of added sugar every single day, while being completely certain he had eliminated it. Here is what that sugar was doing to his eyes. When refined sugar enters your bloodstream, it spikes your blood glucose rapidly. That surge rushes through your entire circulation, including into the aqueous humor, the fluid that bathes and nourishes your lens. Inside that fluid, glucose bonds to the proteins of your lens, permanently, irreversibly. This process is called glycation, and the compounds it produces are called advanced glycation end products, which doctors abbreviate with a cruel irony as AGEs. When lens proteins become glycated, they change shape at a molecular level. They clump together randomly. They lose the crystalline organization that makes a healthy lens transparent and start scattering light instead of focusing it. That scatter is exactly what an ophthalmologist identifies as a cataract forming. And that filmy quality in your vision every morning is light being dispersed by proteins that sugar has permanently deformed. Your blood glucose does not need to reach diabetic levels to drive this process. Blood sugar fluctuations well within the range doctors call acceptable generate measurable glycation in lens proteins over years of accumulated exposure. The damage is slow, silent, and cumulative, but the moment you stop supplying the fuel, the fire stops spreading. You could eliminate every gram of refined sugar starting tomorrow and make real progress. But you could do exactly that and still be losing ground, because the second enemy creates an almost identical glucose catastrophe through a completely different route. Let me tell you about Ruth Ann. Ruth Ann was a 69-year-old retired school teacher from Tulsa who came to me because her night vision had deteriorated to the point where she had stopped driving after 5 p.m. entirely. She had given up her evening book club. When I asked about her diet, she walked me through it with the quiet confidence of someone doing things right. Oatmeal and whole wheat toast for breakfast, a turkey sandwich on multi-grain bread for lunch with pretzels, baked chicken with brown rice and a side salad for dinner, almost no sweets. By every conventional American nutrition guideline, Ruth Ann was a model patient. What no one had ever told her is that the multi-grain bread, the pretzels, the brown rice, and even the oatmeal were sending her blood glucose on rapid damaging spikes every single day that were functionally indistinguishable from eating straight sugar. Starch, in every form, whole wheat bread and white bread alike, brown rice and white rice alike, pretzels and crackers and pasta, is at its most fundamental level nothing more than a long chain of glucose molecules linked end to end. The moment that bread or rice touches the enzymes in your saliva, those chains break apart into individual glucose molecules that flood your bloodstream. Ruth Ann's whole wheat toast had a glycemic index of 74. Regular white bread is 73. Pure table sugar, the thing she was carefully avoiding, is 65. Her healthy breakfast was spiking her lens proteins harder every morning than a spoonful of sugar would have. But the glucose spike is only one of two ways refined starch damages your eyes. The second is what it does to your blood itself. Chronic refined starch consumption raises triglycerides, elevates inflammatory proteins, and makes your blood more viscous and thick. The capillaries feeding your retina and optic nerve are among the most delicate vascular structures in the human body, some as narrow as 5 micrometers in diameter. When your blood is thick and carries elevated glucose and triglycerides, it does not flow smoothly through vessels that fine. It stagnates, creates microscopic turbulence, and when blood stagnates in retinal capillaries, oxygen delivery to photoreceptor cells drops. When oxygen drops consistently in tissue with a metabolic demand as high as your retinas, cells begin to fail one by one, slowly and silently. What changed Ruth Ann's situation was replacing rapid-release starches with slow, fiber-dense whole food carbohydrates, lentils, black beans, sweet potato with the skin on, steel-cut oats, wild rice. Fiber acts as a physical buffer protecting those delicate retinal capillaries from repeated daily spikes. Now you have removed 2 of the 3 fires, but the third is still burning, and this is the one I consider the most insidious because it is not in anything you would recognize as junk food. It is in the cooking oil you use every night. Go to your kitchen and look for a bottle of vegetable oil, canola, soybean, corn oil, sunflower. These oils have been sold to Americans as heart healthy for more than 50 years. They carry endorsements from some of the most trusted medical organizations in the country. What I am about to tell you took me years of reading outside my specialty to fully understand, and I now consider it one of the most underappreciated facts in preventive eye medicine. These oils are structurally damaging to your retina, and they are in almost everything in your kitchen that came in a package. Every cell in your body is surrounded by a membrane built from fat. The fatty acids you eat become the literal raw material your body uses to construct those membranes. Industrial seed oils are extraordinarily high in omega-6 polyunsaturated fatty acids, molecules that are chemically unstable and oxidize rapidly when heated. When you cook with canola or soybean oil, you generate a cascade of oxidized compounds, aldehydes, lipid peroxides, free radicals that enter your bloodstream and damage cell membranes directly. Your retina contains the highest concentration of polyunsaturated fatty acids of any tissue in your body. It is designed to run on omega-3 fatty acids to build photoreceptor membranes that are fluid and responsive to light. When omega-3 building blocks get displaced by oxidized omega-6 from industrial oils, the membranes that get built are structurally inferior, more prone to damage, less able to support the photochemical reactions that let you see in low light. Our ancestors consumed omega-6 and omega-3 in a ratio of roughly 1:1. The average American today runs at 20:1 in favor of omega-6, almost entirely because of industrial seed oils. And these oils are not just on your stovetop, they are in your mayonnaise, your salad dressing, your crackers, your granola bars, your coffee creamer, your frozen meals, your store-bought bread. If it came in a package with a shelf life longer than a week, it almost certainly contains soybean, canola, or sunflower oil. Rebuilding your kitchen is not complicated. Extra virgin olive oil in a dark glass bottle with a harvest date for cold use and gentle cooking. Butter from grass-fed cows. Ghee for higher heat. Avocado oil. These fats do not oxidize under normal cooking heat, do not displace omega-3s from your photoreceptor membranes, and the polyphenols in genuine olive oil have been studied specifically for their protective effect on retinal tissue. Switch these fats and you stop the third fire. Now let's talk about what to add. Your body replaces itself continuously. The fatty acid profile of your cell membranes shifts within weeks of changing your dietary fat. Inflammatory markers in your blood respond within days. Cataracts that have already formed structurally will not dissolve through nutrition. I want to be honest about that. But the rate of progression is almost entirely driven by the ongoing chemical environment inside your eye. Change that environment, and in most patients, progression slows dramatically. Lutein and zeaxanthin are the two pigments your macula deposits specifically to filter blue light and neutralize oxidative stress at the center of your visual field. Your body cannot make them. They must come from food. Cooked dark leafy greens, kale, spinach, collard greens, consumed with a fat source, because these pigments are fat-soluble and absorption without fat is negligible. Astaxanthin, which gives wild-caught salmon and shrimp their deep color, crosses the blood-retinal barrier that blocks most antioxidants and has demonstrated measurable improvements in visual acuity and photoreceptor protection in controlled research. Vitamin C is present in the healthy human lens at concentrations 20 times higher than anywhere else in the body. The lens concentrates it deliberately to neutralize oxidative stress from light passing through it every waking hour. Bell peppers, kiwi, fresh citrus. Zinc is a cofactor for the enzyme your retinal cells use to neutralize one of the most destructive free radical species in visual tissue. Zinc deficiency in the over 55 population is extraordinarily common and directly associated with accelerated macular degeneration. Pumpkin seeds, oysters, grass-fed beef. This is a grocery list, not a pharmacy run. Available at any supermarket, no prescription required. It requires a decision. The fact that you stayed through this entire conversation tells me you are not someone who accepts a passive diagnosis and goes home unchanged. You want to understand the mechanism, not just receive the verdict. Your eyes are not on a fixed trajectory. They are living tissue that responds directly to what you feed them. Stop feeding them refined sugar that glycates your lens proteins. Stop feeding them processed starches that thicken your retinal blood supply and spike your glucose throughout the day. Stop feeding them industrial seed oils that corrupt the structural integrity of your photoreceptor membranes meal after meal. Start feeding them the lutein and zeaxanthin your macula was designed to concentrate, the astaxanthin your photoreceptors can use, the stable clean fats that build functional cell membranes. Give it time. Biology does not move at the speed of a pill. But I have sat across from patients in their late 60s and 70s who told me colors looked more alive than they had in years. That night, driving had become something they did without thinking about it again. Not everyone, not always, but consistently enough across 20 years of practice that I have no remaining doubt about the connection. I have put together a complete practical guide, the Vision Protocol shopping list, with the exact foods, quantities, 3 weeks of meal frameworks built around these principles, brands I recommend avoiding, and supplement dosages for lutein, astaxanthin, and zinc when food sources alone are not enough. It is yours completely free. Write the word clarity in the comments right now. Then find my pinned comment at the top of the comment section and click the link inside. The PDF downloads immediately to your device. Tell me in the comments which of the 3 enemies landed hardest for you today: the hidden sugar inside your healthy foods, the starch and glucose connection your blood test never caught, or the industrial oils in nearly everything packaged in your kitchen. I read these personally and respond when I can. Your situation may become the subject of a future video. If what you heard today shifted something, if you are going to open your pantry differently tomorrow morning, share this with someone who needs it, for the person in your life who is quietly adjusting to a world getting a little darker every year and has been told that is simply how it goes. It does not have to go that way. Take care of your eyes. I will see you in the next one.